Today, June 28th, isn't just another day, it's a turning point. The Pi core team has officially launched something powerful. Are you holding Pi Network and wondering if you're making a huge mistake? Are you seeing the price drop and thinking about selling? Hold on. Are you tired of crypto whales playing games with your investments while you're left confused and stressed? If you're asking yourself these questions, then you're in the exact right place. I'm about to reveal something shocking about Pi Network that the whales don't want you to know. In the next few minutes, I'm going to answer your most pressing questions. Why is Pi's price moving the way it is? What are the whales really doing behind the scenes? And most importantly, should you hold or sell your Pi coins right now? But here's the crazy part. I'm also going to show you evidence of $1 billion investment that could change everything. Plus, I'll reveal why smart money is quietly accumulating Pi while retail investors panic. Let's first greet and give you a worm. Welcome to the channel where we dive deep into the revolutionary changes happening in the Pi network. If you're new here, you've just joined the most informed Pi community on YouTube. Before we explore this mind-blowing real estate phenomenon, I want to see our global Pi family in action. Just join our community by smashing subscribe button and turn on notification if you haven't already. Also, comment PI Network to the moon along with your country name to show the world how massive our community really is. I'm Nathan, and now, let's start with what's happening right now. As I'm recording this video in June 2025, Pi Network is trading at around 62 cents. But here's what most people don't understand. This price movement is not random. Pi Network finally launched its mainnet in February 2025. Yes, you heard that right. After years of mobile mining and waiting, Pi is now a real cryptocurrency that you can actually trade. When it first launched, it opened at $1.45, then dropped to 70 cents on the first day. Talk about volatility. But here's where it gets interesting. The price has been dancing between $1.50 and $1.70, and recently settled around 62 cents. Now, most people see this and think, oh no, Pi is failing. But smart investors see something completely different. You see, over 86% of nearly 295,000 Binance users voted to support Pi Network getting listed on Binance. That's massive community support. When was the last time you saw that kind of enthusiasm for a new cryptocurrency? Now let me tell you about the whale game that's happening right now. And this is where most retail investors get confused and make costly mistakes. Big investors, we call them whales, they have a playbook. It's the same playbook they used with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and every other successful cryptocurrency. Here's how it works. Step 1. They create fear. They sell large amounts to push the price down. Retail investors see red numbers and panic. Oh my god, Pi is crashing. I need to sell before I lose everything. Step 2. While everyone is panicking and selling, the whales are quietly buying back at lower prices. They're accumulating massive amounts of Pi while regular people are selling at a loss. Step 3. Once they have enough coins, they stop the pressure. The price stabilizes and then starts going up. But by then, most retail investors have already sold. This is exactly what happened with Bitcoin. Remember when Bitcoin was $100, $1,000, $10,000? The same whales who are playing with Pi now were accumulating Bitcoin while everyone else was saying, Bitcoin is dead, or Bitcoin will never work. Here's the truth about Pi Network that the whales don't want you to know. This project has something that most cryptocurrencies don't have. Real utility and a massive user base that actually uses the coin. Now, here comes the part that will blow your mind. There's evidence of $1 billion investment in Pi Network that happened in November 2023. The investors? 137 Ventures and Desar Fund. Let me repeat that, $1 billion. These aren't small-time investors gambling with their lunch money. These are serious institutional investors who did months of research before putting that kind of money into Pi Network. And what did they say? Pi Network is designed for finance and ready to shake the world. Those are not words you use lightly when you're investing $1 billion. But here's what's really interesting. They didn't make this investment public right away. Why? Because they were still accumulating coins. They wanted to build their position before the general public caught on. Think about it logically. If you were investing $1 billion, would you do it in a project you thought would fail? Of course not. These investors have teams of analysts, researchers, and experts who study every detail before making such massive investments. This tells us something very important. The smart money believes Pi Network has incredible potential. While retail investors are worrying about short-term price movements, institutional investors are thinking about the next 5 to 10 years. Let me explain why Pi Network is fundamentally different from other cryptocurrencies, and why that billion-dollar investment makes perfect sense. First, Pi has real-world utility. You can actually use Pi to buy things. We're not talking about some theoretical future use case. People are already using Pi to buy rice, pay for car services, purchase land, and even buy vehicles. There's a whole ecosystem called Map of Pi, where thousands of buyers and sellers are actively trading with Pi coins. Second, Pi solved the biggest problem in cryptocurrency: accessibility. With Bitcoin, if you want to invest today, you need thousands of dollars. With Ethereum, you need hundreds of dollars just to get started. But with Pi, you just needed time. For 6 years, people mined Pi for free just by tapping an app once a day. This created something unprecedented: a massive user base of people who actually own and understand cryptocurrency. Most people got into crypto by buying expensive coins they didn't understand. Pi users got into crypto by mining it themselves, learning about it gradually, and building a relationship with the technology. Third, Pi is addressing a real problem: the inefficiency of traditional banking. Banks are slow, expensive, and centralized. They charge fees for everything and take days to process simple transactions. Pi Network offers instant, borderless payments with minimal fees. Think about this. Why do we still need traditional banks when we can send money instantly to anyone in the world using Pi? This is the future of finance, and institutional investors know it. So what should you do right now? The whales are counting on you to panic and sell. They want you to look at the charts and make emotional decisions. But here's what smart investors are doing instead. They're focusing on adoption, not price charts. Every day, more businesses accept Pi. Every day, more people start using Pi for real transactions. Every day, the Pi ecosystem grows stronger. Smart investors understand that price fluctuations are normal. Bitcoin went from $20,000 to $3,000, then to $69,000, then back to $15,000, and now it's over $100,000. Ethereum had similar crazy price swings. All successful cryptocurrencies go through these cycles. The difference is that most cryptocurrencies never develop real utility. They remain speculative investments that people buy hoping to sell to someone else for a higher price. Pi Network is different because people are actually using it as money. When you can pay for your groceries with Pi, when you can pay your rent with Pi, when businesses prefer Pi over traditional payment methods because it's faster and cheaper, that's when you know you're holding something special. The institutional investors who put $1 billion into Pi Network understand this. They're not looking at daily price charts. They're looking at adoption rates, transaction volumes, merchant acceptance, and ecosystem development. Let me paint a picture of where this is all heading. We're in the early stages of a financial revolution. Traditional banking is slow, expensive, and controlled by a few large institutions. Cryptocurrency offers an alternative: fast, cheap, and decentralized. But most cryptocurrencies have failed to achieve mainstream adoption because they're too complicated, too expensive, or too volatile for regular people to use. Pi networks solve these problems. It's simple enough for your grandmother to use. It's affordable because people mined it for free. And once adoption reaches a critical mass, volatility decreases because the coin is being used for real economic activity, not just speculation. The billion-dollar institutional investment is just the beginning. As Pi proves its utility and adoption grows, more institutional investors will want exposure to this market. This creates upward pressure on price that's based on real demand, not speculation. Compare this to where Bitcoin was 10 years ago. Most people thought Bitcoin was a scam, a bubble, or a fad. The same people who are doubting Pi Network today were doubting Bitcoin when it was $100. But here's the key difference. Bitcoin took over a decade to develop real utility. Pi Network is launching with real utility already built in. The ecosystem, the merchants, the users, they're already there. So, here's my practical advice, and this is not financial advice, just my personal opinion based on the research I've shared with you. First, don't make decisions based on short-term price movements. If you're holding Pi, focus on the fundamentals. Is adoption growing? Are more businesses accepting Pi? Is the ecosystem developing? These are the metrics that matter for long-term success. Second, start using Pi in your daily life if possible. The more people use Pi for real transactions, the stronger the network becomes. This creates a positive feedback loop that benefits all Pi holders. Third, stay informed, but don't get caught up in daily drama. Social media is full of people trying to create fear or unrealistic hype. Focus on official announcements, real adoption metrics, and actual usage data. Fourth, remember why you got into Pi in the first place. You probably started mining because you believed in the vision of accessible cryptocurrency. That vision is becoming reality. Don't let short-term price volatility make you forget the bigger picture. Finally, understand that we're still early. Despite the billion-dollar investment and growing adoption, Pi Network is still in its early stages. The potential for growth is enormous, but it will take time to fully materialize. Let me leave you with the bigger picture. We're witnessing the birth of a new financial system. Traditional banks are centralized, slow, and profit-driven institutions that have controlled finance for centuries. Cryptocurrency offers an alternative where people control their own money. Pi Network is uniquely positioned in this revolution because it solved the adoption problem that has held back other cryptocurrencies. While Bitcoin and Ethereum are digital gold and programmable money for tech-savvy investors, Pi Network is digital cash for everyday people. The institutional investors who put $1 billion into Pi Network see this potential. They understand that the first cryptocurrency to achieve true mass adoption will be incredibly valuable. Not just because of speculation, but because of real economic utility. Think about the internet in the 1990s. Most people thought it was a fad. They couldn't see how email would replace letters, how online shopping would replace malls, or how social media would change communication. But the people who invested early in internet companies became incredibly wealthy. We're at a similar point with cryptocurrency and Pi Network specifically. The people who understand the potential and hold on through the volatility will likely be rewarded. The people who panic and sell because of short-term price movements will miss out on the bigger opportunity. The whales are counting on retail investors to panic. They want you to sell your Pi so they can buy it cheap. Don't give them that satisfaction. So there you have it, the complete truth about what's really happening with Pi Network right now. The whales are playing their usual manipulation games, trying to shake out weak hands before the real explosive growth begins. But now you know their exact playbook, and you can make smart, informed decisions instead of panicking like they want you to. Let me be crystal clear about something. $1 billion institutional investment doesn't happen by accident or luck. These professional investors have teams of experts who spent months analyzing Pi Network from every possible angle. They see the same incredible potential that early Pi miners saw years ago, a cryptocurrency that regular people can actually use for real transactions in their daily lives. But here's what separates winners from losers in this game. The question isn't whether Pi Network will succeed or not. The evidence is already there. Real adoption, real utility, real institutional backing. The only question that matters is this: will you have the patience, wisdom, and strength to hold on while the whales try every trick in the book to make you sell your Pi coins cheap? Think about this for a moment. Every single successful cryptocurrency went through these exact same phases. Bitcoin holders were called crazy when it was $1. Ethereum holders were mocked when it was $10. The people who held through the manipulation, through the fear campaigns, through the price volatility, those are the people who became millionaires. Right now, Pi Network is at that exact same crossroads. You have a choice to make. You can either be like the majority of people who panic and sell when whales create fear, or you can be like the smart minority who understand the bigger picture and hold for the long term. Here's what I want you to do right now. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening with Pi Network, if you now understand the whale manipulation tactics, if you see the incredible potential that institutional investors saw when they invested $1 billion, then smash that like button. Show me that you're not going to fall for the whale tricks anymore. And here's something special I want you to do. In the comments below, write Pi Network to the moon, followed by your country name and your country's flag emoji. I want to see how global our Pi community really is. I want to see Pi holders from every corner of the world showing their support. When we come together as a community, we're stronger than any whale manipulation. But don't stop there. Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Why? Because the whales are not done with their games. They're going to try more manipulation tactics in the coming weeks and months. I'll be here to explain what's really happening, to help you see through their strategies, and to keep you informed with the latest developments that mainstream media won't tell you. Share this video with everyone you know who owns Pi Network. Share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. They need to know what the whales are really doing. They need to understand why the price moves the way it does. They need to see the evidence of institutional investment and real-world adoption. When our community shares knowledge, we all become stronger and smarter investors. Here's something else I want you to do. Start using Pi in your daily life whenever possible. Find businesses that accept Pi and support them. The more we use Pi for real transactions, the stronger the network becomes. This creates a positive cycle that benefits every single Pi holder. We're not just passive investors, we're active participants in building the future of money. And remember this important truth, we're not just holding a cryptocurrency. We're not just making an investment. We're pioneers in a financial revolution that will change the world. We're part of history in the making. The traditional banking system that has controlled money for centuries is about to face its biggest challenge ever. Pi Network represents something bigger than profits or price charts. It represents freedom from expensive bank fees, freedom from slow international transfers, freedom from centralized control over our money. When you hold Pi, you're holding a piece of the future where people control their own financial destiny. The whales know this. That's why they're trying so hard to accumulate PiCoins while the price is still affordable. They know that once mass adoption really kicks in, once Pi becomes as common as cash, the price will reflect that reality. But they can only succeed if we let them trick us into selling. So here's my final message to you. Stay strong, stay informed, stay focused on the big picture. The whales are counting on you to panic, to make emotional decisions, to sell when they want you to sell. Don't give them that satisfaction. You've held Pi this long. Don't let short-term manipulation make you give up on long-term success. The next few months are going to be crucial for Pi Network. We're going to see more exchange listings, more merchant adoption, more real-world use cases, and probably more whale manipulation attempts. But if you understand what's really happening, if you focus on fundamentals instead of price charts, you'll be ready for whatever comes next. Thanks for watching this video, thanks for being part of our Pi community, and thanks for not letting the whales win. I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue following Pi Network's journey to mainstream adoption. Until then, keep mining, keep holding, and keep believing in the future we're building together.